Hey, I'm Pops. I'm going to talk about Andor. Yeah, I didn't do a video last week. I'm behind an episode because of other stuff going on, and I'm caught up on episodes 4 and 5. And the message is very, very clear on where we're at in the show. A lot of people had a lot of high hopes for the show. I found it drawn out for no reason. And I said, well, let's just see if we can you know, get back into some action. But this is my thoughts on the episodes. Catch you up on the show. Hopefully, I'll watch it so you don't have to because I can't recommend it yet uh, for a lot of different reasons. So let me get briefly synopsis of 4 and 5. At the end of episode 3, we actually had Stellan Skarsgård's character Luthen race away with Andor. He's going to become part of this rebellion, and he was taken to this area where these this group is pretending to be tribesmen. They have this scheme, this robbery, and they give him a fake name as Clem, and they're going to embed him in with them because he's so multi-talented at all these different things, and because he had stolen this really high-profile artifact type thing because he quote walked in like he owned the place basically. Um, anyway, and then meanwhile, the inspector who had become obsessed with Andor, defied his commanding officer, and created the chaos that resulted in so many dead. The Imperials basically come in, disband all of them, and he has to go home to his mom. Yeah, he went home to his mom. There's also another Imperial lady who she's trying to work her way into the investigation because of the artifact thing that he had stolen. Yeah. So anyway, long story short, it's a bunch of tribes people run by a girl. So now we have little girl boss. We have the white imperial girl boss who is trying to pull power away because they like the other guy is like, you hate seeing all of this and using the descriptions that they use, but it's because they don't have characters develop in the show. Like I don't have any real attachments. And through episode 5, that doesn't really change. Like we have more. They're practicing, rehearsing. They've made this model. They've explained their scheme and their plan. They're basically just stealing money to fund the rebellion. And I'm like, okay. I mean, it's not a horrible thing, but we're 5 episodes in, and there's no robbery. We still don't have a freaking robbery. We don't do anything. We just still walk and talk about it. In fact, they actually are acting it out. And all we're doing is showing the audience what they already know, that Andor is experienced and he knows, oh, this one's left-handed, so he should be on the outside versus right-handed. And that's it. The other people don't know a clue. That's it. It's like, okay, well, the audience knows that. The audience knows he's not going to die because he makes it to Rogue One. This takes place before Rogue One. He's not going to die in all of this. So the 2 episodes are set up as these different people pretending to be tribesmen. They're going to there's a lieutenant. They gave us his name actually. Anyway, he basically had a girl. He fell in love. They killed her basically. So now he hates the Empire. He's helping them. He's gotten them uniforms. They're going to sneak in, and this is going to be their scheme. You get a little bit of introduction to Mon Mothma in episode 4. Where she's in a terrible marriage. She's, putting on this pomp and circumstance. She visits Luthen at like an artifact store. Now, Luthen pretends to be somebody else when he's on Coruscant. So he has like a disguise. He changes his mannerisms. He puts on a little wig. And Stellan Skarsgård is basically Stellan Skarsgård. That's it. Basically, that's who he is. There's no real range of his acting that's going to shock you from stuff he's already done before. And behind closed doors, they speak about the rebellion and their plan, and they're running out of money. It's hard to move money around. And in this episode, there's a couple quick glances. So, but what hit me was, I don't care about anybody in this show. Like nobody. Look, this is from the trailer. When the trailer dropped, people posted this collage, right? So this is Andor. this is Bix. She was the character that was like a quasi girlfriend, helped him in episodes 1 through 3. And then I guess that's it. She served her purpose and she's completely gone. She was at least a character that we grew to be attached to in after the first 3 episodes, but we've moved on from that. This is evil Imperial bad guy. He's presented and then just forgotten. He doesn't exist in episode 5 like at all. In the center is this is arrogant, obsessed Imperial officer. She's trying to figure out this connection. Like she's sniffing out there's some sort of we'll call it a rebellion. They don't call it that. They don't call it anything at the point. There's like these 4 or 5 different instances. It's all, and they have these great lines that they think that they're throwing out there. Like it's too random to be random. It's like, I don't think random means what you think it means. Like it's just nonsense. Why would anyone pay attention to you until you have something? Anyway, this was Tribe girl boss from the earlier episodes who died. So she's completely gone. She's dead. And this is the black dude that they're all supposed to listen to because they separate the men from the women because there's no crime. We don't do anything. We talk about it. We walk. We describe things. Oh, see, so-and-so over there, he feels this, and so-and-so over there feels this, and so-and-so over feels. Let me ask you a question. And maybe you're not watching House of Dragon right now, or maybe you're watching some other show that you do like, and ask yourself, do you know any of the characters in Andor? Do you know their names? Like, I watch this stuff with my subtitles on, so I get the fact that there are names and I picked up on who some of these people are, but if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't know who any of these people are. Like there's no like they say this is so and so, and they tell you this little backstory, and it's like the one kid gives like this generic watered down anarchist manifesto speech, and you're like, okay. And the other guy has this quick little story because his brother had been killed by the Imperials and they flag he's a farmer. And then when they show Mon Mothma and the husband is a complete a-hole who can't remember. He's like a rich elitist who can't remember the name of the driver. And as I thought about this, and it started to hit me, and I was realizing just how generic and vanilla it all was. And I realized Tony Gilroy is the brain behind this, right? They brought him in at Rogue One. He's probably responsible for the Vader scene. He's the one that did all the rewrites and saved the film to make it at least digestible, right? Gareth Edwards had come over. He'd really been hired way above his station to get the job to do a Star Wars movie, right? He loved it all. He's into it. He's a Star Wars nerd. That's great. I'm happy for him. I'm happy that he got a gig. But reality is it's just a generic film that doesn't film particularly like a Wars movie. He did the Godzilla movie and it was like, it's okay. It's nothing special. But basically, none of these movies have panned out to be something that has given Gareth Edwards this big directing career. And Tony Gilroy is the one that's given credit for at least making Rogue One palatable. I'm not saying it's even good. I'm just it's fun. I like it. I think it's okay. But I've said the biggest problem is it's not as bad as Solo, but you don't feel like you're really in Star Wars much. But as far as I know, Gareth Edwards really doesn't have any. You know, he did Godzilla. I think he has a film coming up, but I don't know what it is. So I was like, well, let me look at this. I knew Tony Gilroy wrote the first 2 episodes and the last 2 episodes. So we have this long season of like 12 episodes or whatever. In the middle is where we find what Disney's doing. This is where they create content, right? Because the episode, so basically Gilroy wrote 4 episodes. So you have, let's say, 30 minutes. You have basically a 2-hour, 2.5-hour movie. But all this other stuff in the middle is just fluff. Let's just stretch it out. Like, who are they bringing in? And one of the things that surprised me is no surprise is the Gilroys are like Hollywood elitists, right? The dad, Frank Gilroy, is like this playwright. And I forget how I learned all this, but Frank Gilroy is this playwright. So they come from like they're in entertainment. So the brother is the guy who did Nightcrawler. I think his name is Dan Gilroy. I should look that up so I don't look like a fool. And so he has got a couple episodes. So he's writing a couple episodes. And the other brother is an editor. So he is also, yeah, Dan Gilroy. So Dan Gilroy did Nightcrawler. So he's writing a couple episodes. The other brother is an editor. So he's an editor on Andor. So it's Hollywood elitism. Why is that important? Because these people don't human. Someone said that, and I thought that was so. I think it was Nina Affinity had said this, and I don't know if she got it from somewhere else or whatever, but it was like, yeah, this isn't like, what are we doing? People don't talk, and you just see these things. You pick things up on your own and through observation. And I made a mention of House of Dragon because I thought to myself, 4 or 5 episodes of House of Dragon, I know so much about so many characters through their actions, their behaviors, little scenes, even little speeches. So, for instance, Rhaenyra is this little arrogant princess, and then she's kind of got the hots for the uncle, which she shouldn't, but she does. And then she comes back in that scene, and then she sleeps with her knight, her protector. And he's not supposed to. He's supposed to have like a role of celibacy to protect her, but he gives into it. And then fast forward to the current episode, and he's now the protector of the queen. I care about this character. I know enough about this character compared to Andor, where I'm going on a mission with Andor with Cassian, and there's 4 or 5 people, and I mean, I've been told these different stories about them. I've got like witchy little girl boss Vel, who's barking orders, and she's telling things, and it's just scene after scene is just wasted and wasted and wasted. There's just nothing ever happening. There's still no. It's just like She-Hulk. There's still no Daredevil. You guys have been talking about and teasing Daredevil for like 3 or 4 weeks. It's like we've been talking about this thing since episode 3. If you had to have 4, why is 4 and 5 their own episodes? Even if we're going to do this, they should easily have been edited and made into one episode. But we can't do that because we have to have content. We've got to get us all to consume 12 episodes. Do not. I gotta tell you right now, if you want to watch Andor, here's my tips on watching Andor. Watch episode 3 and just watch the recap. And right now, I can say watch episode 5 and watch the recap. And you really don't even need to watch all of episode 5. I'll let you know once the crime actually happens, because I don't have faith that they're going to do it in the next episode. That's how slow and bland all of this is. Because long gone is the concept of slow burn and world building. There are pieces of it that feel like we're in the infancy of the empire, like as far as what there's happening, but we don't have any of that anymore. It's like what was interesting on the planet in episodes 1 through 3. It's old news. Like, who cares? We're told they're going to do these things, but we're still stuck in like pasture land. There's a couple of set structures, and then Coruscant just looks like generic sci-fi. It could be anything, right? There's not going to be Jedi. There's not going to be lightsabers. There's half the time there's not even blasters. Like they're carrying around AK-47s at one point. They're just, all the props seem very generic and plastic and cheap. I felt like some of the Coruscant, there's a shot with Mamata's car and some of that stuff. Like, okay, I felt like that was all fine. But then there's like the shot, like they say Luthen over and over again, and they cut to this scene, and it's this little lady. I actually thought it was Bix from the first 3 episodes. It's not. It's the assistant, Luthen's assistant. They're back at the Luthen. He's in his little thing, like listening to his little secret recorder to see if he has a message, because he's so stressed out about everything. What is the point of this scene? Just to show us that Luthen is stressed out? I didn't even know who this girl was. I don't know her name. I don't. It's like, do you care? Do you know who any of these people are? I don't. You're not a good writer if I don't care about people who I'm supposed to. They're going to die. They're not making it to the next. They're not making it to the movie. So we're supposed to have these emotional moments. And I'm reminded of Kenobi. This show is like rest in peace, Wade, R.I.P. Wade all over again, where there was like this little rebel guy in a meeting, and he makes one little line, and next thing you know, he's in a snow speeder and he dies. And there's this quiet, intense moment that we're all supposed to be sad and moved because Wade is dead. And you're like, I don't care about Wade because I don't know who Wade is. I don't care about these people, these little people wandering around living like farmers to steal money to fund the rebellion. Like, you couldn't figure out a faster way to do this. Tarantino does this in 10 minutes. Tarantino gave us more and Reservoir Dogs sitting around a cafe where they're talking about boning Madonna than you people have done in 5 episodes of Andor. And if that's the situation, you're doing something wrong. It's not me misinterpreting it. It's you, your crappy creators. So I'm going back to my life. She-Hulk is tomorrow. Lord help me. Let's see. I usually give you guys Bob Ross, right? Let's do Bob Ross. We have to have some happy joy with Bob Ross. Bob Ross. Anyway, tell me what you think. Maybe you're still cool with the slow burn thing, and you got all that and all this. Fine. I'm good. That's fine. Tell me why though. Give me more to go on, because most of the positives I'm hearing, it's like 1 or 2 things, and they're very, very small. It's like these things are like this much, and the complaints to me are like this, but we're not tipping the scale. We're holding it. We're giving them a bigger pass than they deserve. Like, I've heard Luthien's name. It's not Luthien, it's Luthen. They don't even give us the information to have the main characters that we're supposed to like. I don't know. Okay. Maybe I'm off base. It's okay. It's okay. Bob Ross, back to life. Bob Ross. Yes.